Hello everyone, this is Mikey Garcia.
Yo, it's your boy, the odd guy himself, Malik King Scott.
Hi, I'm Charlie Edwards.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host, Joey Coastman. I'm joined, as always, by Ayaz. Ayaz, how you doing?
I'm good, Joey. How are you?
Very good, very good. Okay, now this show is going to be a little bit different. We always seem to be changing up the schedules, but it's really not our fault. It purely comes down to if there's going to be fights this weekend, if there was fights last weekend, etc. Last weekend, of course, the one that we're going to review in part one, there was quite a lot of fights going on. So that's going to be a nice little part one. Part two, where we preview the fights, I think there's only really one card that I'm going to mention on the preview part of the show. So basically, we're going to sort of jazz it up a little bit. We're going to go through part one, where we're going to review the fights from last weekend. Then we're going to bring on two interviews, two fighters that were in fights on that bill. One of them being John Ryder, and one of them being Leon McKenzie, of course. So we're going to do part one, then we're going to bring on John Ryder, then we're going to bring on Leon McKenzie. And then I believe we're going to do part two, and there's a little bit of news that we're going to discuss. All things Amir and Canelo. I'm just going to spoil it for you right now. And we're going to end the show on an interview, I believe, that Ayaz done with Jamie Kavanagh, who's fighting this weekend. Is that right, Ayaz?
Yes, that's right, Joey. Jamie Kavanagh.
Excellent. Okay, great stuff. Okay, so we get straight into part one. We're going to start, of course, there was quite a few cards in different continents. We're going to start with a card, just one fight I want to mention on the bill, in China. Zhu Shiming picked up a TKO victory in round 8. That was for the vacant WBO International Flyweight title. Zhu Shiming now moves to 7 wins and 1 loss. He beat a guy called Nathan Coutinho, who was unbeaten in 12. Of course, he's now got the one blemish to Zhu Shiming. This card, the reason why I wanted to start with this one was because Eddie Hearn got a lot of credit this week because his fight card that we're going to talk about next, right after this one, it had 14 fights on the bill. And everybody was going, oh, it's a nice card. George Groves is on it. Yep, credit where credit's due. This crazy one in China had 28. So it's amazing. So that was the one that Zhu Shiming was on. That was over in Shanghai at the Shanghai Oriental Sports Center. So big shout out to that venue. Absolutely buzzing for boxing right now. We're now going to move over to the Copperbox Arena in Hackney Wick, of course, in London. We're going to start with top of the bill. He's the first guest on this week's show, John Ryder. We're going to, of course, talk to him a little bit later, but his result of his fight, he picked up a 12th round unanimous decision victory over Sergei Kamitsky. Of course, Sergei Kamitsky, everybody's sort of nicknamed him the Brit Basher. We've seen him stop a few of our prospects. John Ryder started the fight a little bit ragged, a little bit wild, I think. He picked up a cut above the right eye in the second round. John Ryder now moves to 22-2. Sergei Kamitsky, that's his 13th loss now. Again, his record doesn't look fantastic. 30 wins, 13 losses, 3 draws. But he really is a danger man, absolutely. It was still a tough fight, but we're going to move on to another fight on that bill. John Wayne Hibbert defended his Commonwealth title against Tommy Martin. Now, of course, we spoke to Tommy Martin, I think it was 2 weeks ago now. He was really, really, really confident for this fight, but it didn't go in his favour. John Wayne Hibbert, the champion, and of course the underdog. He was widely reported that he was the underdog in most of the betting shops. So John Wayne Hibbert picked up a 12th round KO. It was a little bit strange. I mean, Tommy Martin went down sort of on one knee. He was looking at his corner and he seemed to misjudge the count, I think. He thought it was on 7 when really it was on 9, and he got up at what he thought was 7, but really it was 9, and the referee waved it off. I think he did deserve to go the final distance. He didn't deserve to be counted out. I think John Wayne Hibbert would be the first person to say that as well. Of course, he'd like that extra knockout on his record. He'll like that, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't the sort of knockout that you want to have on your record. It was a bit It's a bit of a shame, to be totally honest. Tommy Martin, this is just a bit of inexperience, really. Remember, this was only his 14th professional contest, and of course, his hardest fight yet to date. I think that he shouldn't have really been looking at his corner, but very unfortunate stuff for Tommy Martin. He racks up his first loss now, 13 wins and 1 loss. It was an absolute war, by the way, and it was the best fight on this card. John Wayne Hibbert, now 17 wins and 3 losses. Moving down the bill, Martin Ward picked up a third-round TKO. I don't think that fight was televised. He beat a guy called Mario Pisanti. So now Martin Ward, that was his 15th professional fight. So 13 wins and 2 draws. That was for the WBC International Super Featherweight title. Pisanti was down in the first round and again down in the second round. Of course, it ended in the third by TKO. Okay, now the George Groves fight, Ayaz. I know that this was a fight that you paid close attention to. What did you make of George Groves getting back in there? The return of the Saint. What did you think of his performance, Ayaz?
I reckon it was a good performance. It was his first performance under new trainer Shane McGuigan, which I believe, in my opinion, this time I actually reckon George Groves will actually win a world title. This, in my opinion, Shane McGuigan is a very good coach, very young, yeah, and George's power, I reckon, is starting to slowly come back now.
Yeah, absolutely, Ayaz. I mean, definitely. Shane McGuigan, like I say, he's a young trainer, but he's very, very sought after at the moment. So, interesting link up. Of course, we've noted that before. But yeah, George Groves picked up a TKO victory in the 5th round. Of course, he beat a guy called Andrea De Luisa. De Luisa had been knocked out on 3 occasions, I believe, and one of them was to Rebras. Rebras is a guy that George Groves beat quite handily. De Luisa was given a count in the 4th round and he was down in the 5th, and basically his corner threw the towel in, but he was pretty much finished. George Groves just showed his, the type of level that he's on. Boxing's all about levels. George Groves, he did show us all his fantastic jab. He does really have one of the best jabs in British boxing, in my opinion. We're going to move down that card, of course. There was a few other guys on the bill, a little bit down that card. Ben Hall, who was on our show last week, he picked up a fantastic win. He looked really good, by the way. He fought a guy called Chris Agidua. Now, Agidua, he was the champ. He was for the British Boxing Board of Control Southern Area Super Welterweight title, the 154 title. Ben Hall looked really, really good. He picked up a TKO in the 6th round. He was telling us last week, he was telling me when I interviewed him, that he hits hard. We haven't really seen, what he can do yet. And he now moves to 8-0 with the 1 draw. And like I say, took him out there in really good fashion. Everybody said he looked really impressive. Leon McKenzie was also on the bill. Of course, he's our second guest on this week's show, and we'll be speaking to him in a short period of time. He picked up a first-round KO over Kelvin Young. Leon McKenzie, of course, campaigning at super middleweight, so he now moves to 8 wins and the 1 draw. Reece Belletti, of course, he was trained by Jimmy Mack Jr., who we spoke to recently as well. He now moves to 5-0. His opponent, Elvis Gwillan, retired after the 7th. He didn't want to come out for the 8th and final round. So Reece Belletti now 5-0. O'Hara Davies picked up another routine stoppage in the 3rd round. This one was by TKO. He fought a guy called Prince Afotsu. Afotsu was down twice in the 1st round. And O'Hara Davies just, he just looked good, and he sort of did what he had to do and got him out of there, which is what he should be doing with this type of opponent. O'Hara Davies now 10-0. Ted Cheeseman was also on the bill. He moved to 3-0. He picked up a 4th round TKO victory. Dion Juma, the Brit that is fighting in Britain for the first time. He's been fighting all over the world, and now he's got his first fight in Britain, which was his 8th fight. He won this on points after 6 rounds. So Dion Juma now 8-0. Craig Richards moved to 4-0 with a points win over Kieran Gray after 4 rounds. Louis Adolphi, again trained by Jimmy Mack Jr., he moved to 4-0 with a points win over William Warburton, and that was just a 4-rounder. Lucian Reid was also on the bill. He got a nice TKO victory in the 1st round. His opponent, Kovacs, was down early in the 1st round, and that was it. Kovacs was actually unbeaten in 2 fights, so he was 2-0. Lucian Reid was 3-0, but now Lucian Reid 4-0. And Charlie Duffield, he was out on his second outing professionally. He picked up a TKO in round 2. His opponent, Richard Harrison, he's only just starting out his career as well. But Charlie Duffield, 2-0 now. And that's it for the Copperbox show. I believe we've read out every single fight of that 14-fight card. I think we've given the results on every single fight. We're now going to move over to the beefy one, the really, really, well, I say beefy one. It was a rematch that perhaps didn't really need a rematch, but we're going to talk about it anyway, of course. At the Bell Centre in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, top of the bill, Sergei Kovalev faced Jean Pascal. This was a rematch, of course, in 2015. Sergei Kovalev beat Jean Pascal. I think it was the 8th round when they fought in 2015. I thought it was going to go in 5. You thought it was going to go in 7. And, well, he retired in the 7th. He didn't want to come out for the 8th. So you got that prediction right, Ayaz. So congratulations on that one.
Thank you very much, Joey.
This, of course, was for Kovalev's IBF, WBA and WBO light heavyweight titles. Kovalev just absolutely bossed it from round 1. We saw Jean Pascal have quite a decorated corner. He came out with Roy Jones Jr. rapping. He wrapped him into the ring a little bit like Stormzy did for Joshua the other day. I'm not sure it was quite up to the same standard, but nonetheless, Roy Jones Jr. came out with him. Of course, he also had Chris Bird, the former heavyweight champion of the world, in his corner. And of course, one of the best trainers in boxing as well, Freddie Roach, was in his corner. So you could see he was taking it serious, Pascal, but even though he was taking it serious, Kovalev just too superior for him, to be totally honest with you. Like I say, he was bossing it from round 1. He was hitting him with whatever he wanted to. Every time they were clinching up close, Kovalev was throwing in that double right hook or double left hook right into the ribs of Pascal. Every single time they was literally just being told to break by the referee, he'd quickly slip in those 2 body punches, and they looked really solid, those type of punches that he just wanted to punish him. And he said it, he did say it. He said he just wanted to punish him. He's not a good person. He doesn't respect him, and he's never going to respect him. That's what he said. Of course, after the fight, when he was being interviewed, he said that he wants to fight Adonis Chickinson. What do you make of that, Ayaz? Have you ever heard of Adonis Chickinson?
Yeah, a nickname for Adonis Stevenson. I reckon that's a very good fight, but in my opinion, I still reckon Kovalev beats him.
Yeah, so do I, if I'm being totally honest with you. He jumped in the ring, he said, I'm the real champ. To be totally honest, Kovalev didn't really sort of give him the time of day. He just sort of walked off and kept it cool. He's just won a big fight. He's not going to start getting into a slanging match in the ring, especially when both guys' English isn't the greatest. I don't know what language they'd be speaking in. Kovalev, again, now 29 wins and 1 draw. He's just an absolute animal at the moment. I can't wait to see that fight. I did ask a question on the BoxHard Podcast Twitter page. I put a poll up there. I did ask everybody, if only one can happen in 2016, what fight would you rather see? Would you rather see Kovalev against Ward or Kovalev against Stevenson? Now, we took 161 votes on Twitter, and Kovalev versus Ward was the winner. It was 55% and 45% for the Kovalev versus Stevenson fight. So Kovalev versus Ward, a fight that people want to see more than the Stevenson fight. In my opinion, I'd like to see the Stevenson fight, but I'll leave that there. We're going to move down that card. There was one other fight, I believe, just one other fight I want to mention on that card. A prospect coming through at the moment. 2 prospects coming through at the moment as it goes. Firstly, the heavyweight prospect Cassius Chaney. He moved to 6-0 with a 3rd round TKO over Zoltan Sassler. Also on the card, Joel Diaz Jr., prospect in the super featherweight division. He picked up a 2nd round TKO. It was only a 4-rounder, which is a little bit strange because Joel Diaz was 20-0 going into this fight, I believe with 16 knockouts. So he's now 21-0 with 17 knockouts, I believe. So a really good win for Joel Diaz Jr. Another fantastic opportunity for him to get on that big card in Canada. There's a couple other fights that I want to mention that took place in USA. There was a fight at the Marriott Convention Center in Burbank. Jose Felix Jr. He picked up his 33rd win. He's now 33-1 with the one draw. This was a split decision after 10 rounds. He beat a guy called Ricky Sismundo. Ricky Sismundo was deducted 1 point for hitting after the bell, and it was a split decision, as I say. And that's really it for all the cards this week. Like I say, there was that big card in China, that huge card in China. There was the bill in the Copperbox, and of course the fights in Canada. And there was just one to mention there on USA. We're now going to bring on our first guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, fresh from his fight on Saturday night and his win over the Brit Basher, Sergei Kamitsky, we welcome you, Mr. John Ryder. John, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Thanks. I'm ready to be on.
No problem. It's my pleasure. I just want to touch on your win on Saturday. We've seen Sergei Kamitsky, your opponent, stop some of our prospects, of course, Adam Etches and, of course, Frank Buglioni. How tricky is Kamitsky? Because his record doesn't obviously look fantastic, but we do know he's a real danger man. What's his power like? How did you feel in there on Saturday, John?
There's real power in both fists. I mean, he throws that big backhand and he just loops that short hook in, but you look at him and you think, oh, he's easy, it'd be easy meat, but he does things a little bit differently. Like when you're in there and he kind of takes you by surprise a bit. He is better than he looks when you're in there with him.
You sort of started the fight not in the best way. You got a cut in the second round, I believe. Did you mean to start like that, or was it just simply wanting to impress straight away, maybe a bit too early?
No, I mean, I seem to I always get cuts on that side of my face for some reason. No, I mean, I just wanted to box. I knew there was, in my mind, I'd put in that there was no chance in hell that I'd get Kamitsky out of there. So it was just purely just to box, not to make it an exciting fight for no one, just purely just to get a win and get my career back on track.
Definitely. Now, I want to talk about the Nick Blackwell fight. It wasn't the usual John Ryder we see turn up for fights. What went wrong on that night, and how much would it mean to you to avenge that loss to Nick Blackwell?
I trained well, I trained hard, but I mean, I just messed up with my diet a bit and paid the ultimate price. Do you know what I mean? It just shows that if not all factors are done properly, then slip-ups are going to happen. Do you know what I mean? It's all very well. I was out in Texas training for 3 weeks prior to that fight and come back, had another 3 weeks back in England. But, I mean, I was great runs, great sparring, but just didn't get a hold of my diet and my weight and crashed it down last minute. And, I mean, people said to me that if you don't do your weight properly, you'll get halfway through a fight and things will just failure. And it turns out it does.
Is that a defeat that you'd like to avenge? Of course, we now know that he's supposed to be fighting Chris Eubank Jr. Would you want to get a look in for the winner of that fight, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a natural fight. Either fight is a massive fight for British boxing, and they're both fights I think I can win. I mean, they're both top opponents, but I mean, I'm in this for the big fights and the big nights. So I believe that on my day when I do things properly and do my weight right, that I can beat the best.
So who would you actually like to fight next, or are you looking at that fight? Do you want the winner of that fight, or is there anyone else in particular that you'd like to fight next?
No, I mean, I genuinely just leave it down to Tony, Sims and Eddie Earn and just see what they come up with. I mean, I'm not the kind of person who shouts from the rooftops that I want so-and-so, but I mean, a fight I would be like the Jorge Sebastian Highland fight, because I think he's after a good win against Matthew Macklin, and I mean, I think he's had one fight since, and that's over a year ago. So I mean, he's got a great ranking with the WBC, and there was talk about it before, but it's just a fight I would love to have.
Because, of course, your record now 22-2. You came really, really close. It was a really close fight. I was actually there in attendance when you fought Billy Joe Saunders. Do you feel that your career has almost sort of took like a backward spiral since then? Not that it was anything to do with you, but just performances. You underperformed in a couple of fights, although you pulled out the win. But again, a really, really good effort you put up against Billy Joe. Do you feel that you've come out of the limelight a little bit, whereas before you was right underneath that big spotlight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, after the Saunders fight, I mean, I was due to get straight back in against Jez Wilson for a British title eliminator in December. But I got a hand injury, so that put me out, and the fight ended up being put back till April time. So, I mean, yeah, you kind of lose all momentum, do you know what I mean? In a time where I should have had that fight in December, then again in April, and really kick back on and maybe pushed for the rematch around that time. I mean, all was kind of lost, and I mean, I did ultimately get injured again in the Jez Wilson fight, so that put me back even further. So it was just about just getting back in there in the end and just racking up some wins and getting back in the mix.
Who do you think is going to win? If I can push you for a prediction on the fight between Eubank Jr. and Nick Blackwell.
I think ability-wise, you've got to lean towards Chris Eubank. But I mean, I know firsthand that you can't write Nick Blackwell off. He's as tough in the game as they come, and he's an absolute addict at training. And I mean, where I lacked the discipline with his diet and making the weight, he was completely opposite. He was on everything. He was on the mark for everything. That plays a big part. So, I mean, if Eubank's not on it, then it could be a big upset on the card.
And who would you like, just going back over to Billy Joe now, who would you like to see him fight next? I know that he's now turned around and said he's got a fight date in April. Who would you like to see him in there with? A lot of people are obviously shouting Golovkin, but who would you like to see him in there with, John?
No, I don't think. Listen, he's just won the title. I mean, who wants to fight Golovkin? Do you know what I mean? Realistically, it's a very high risk, and not being funny that the money will not be the greatest of rewards. But I don't know. I mean, someone like a challenger, maybe like a Gabriel Rosado or someone of sorts like that who has previously fought for world titles and is willing to travel, because I mean he does deserve to have a fight in London and have a homecoming. He deserves to get a few defences.
How many times will you look to be out this year, John? How many times are you looking to be active this year fighting?
I'd like to be out as much as possible. So I mean, if I could get another 3 fights in, that'd be perfect for me.
Okay. A massive fight that just sort of got pulled out the hat today. Everyone was just going mad about it on Twitter. Amir Khan facing Canelo. What's your thoughts on that one?
So I see that at first, and I see that there was a promo video, and I just thought that's got to be a joke. And there weren't too much going about, but then I've seen everyone tweet that. I thought, that's strange. Got to take your hat off to Amir Khan for taking the opportunity. Don't see that stepping up to 155 to fight Canelo is the best move, and I mean moving up to 155 to fight Canelo anyway, but then to fight for the 160 title was a bit strange. So I don't get that. There's plenty of challenges at 147 that he could have took, but hats off to him. It's a tough fight.
Absolutely, it is a bit of a strange one. All right, John, I'm gonna ask you now if you want to give any listeners your Twitter handle for people to follow you on Twitter, maybe Instagram, Facebook, and if there's any sponsors you want to thank, now's the time to do so.
Yeah, if I could thank White's Gentlemen's Club, Elite Scaffolding, RS Raynham, sponsors. Thanks for their continued help and support. My Twitter and Instagram is _John_Ryder_. Just get following and keep supporting.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for giving us a bit of time this close after your fight, John, and this late at night, of course. It's been my pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much, and we wish you the absolute best of luck for this year and the best health, I hope you don't get no injuries or anything that's going to play a part in your career in a negative way. All the best from BoxHard Podcast, John.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Take care.
Thanks, mate. Bye-bye.
Okay, now, as I said, this show is a bit different to any other shows we've got. We've got the 2 interviews that are sort of still part of part 1. We've just interviewed John Ryder. We're now going to bring on ex-football player turned boxer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Leon McKenzie. Leon, welcome to the show, sir.
How you doing?
Fantastic. I'm fantastic. Yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Just a chill day today.
Chilled day after that crushing first round KO.
Yeah, it was a good weekend for myself and family. Just handled business.
What was it like fighting on Sky Sports? Finally getting that exposure as a boxer. Of course, you've probably been on Sky Sports as a footballer. Is that the first time you've been on as a boxer, though?
Sure, yeah, that was the first time as a boxer. So, that's an achievement in itself. it was good to make an impact and a big statement in the fashion that I did.
One thing I want to ask you, Leon, is, of course, as you say, you were a professional football player. When you turned to a boxer, was you still in love with football a little bit?
Not really. I think I've done all I could in regards of my professional football career. I had 18 years of some fantastic, had some fantastic memories, and achieved as much as I could in that professional career. Also was, had a lot of major injuries, which was a bit of a burden to my career, maybe even blossoming even more. But like I said, scored many goals. I've got some fantastic memories, so I left a lot behind and obviously moved forward.
Yeah, because just before your fight started, they did show that goal you scored, that famous goal against Manchester United, and it seemed like your celebration, to be honest, lasted longer than the fight the other night.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of made that a bit of a trademark, taking off the top thing when I scored sort of big goals like that. So it was just a habit, and weren't in bad shape then, to be fair.
No, I did actually have a little butchers at your body at that time.
Yeah.
Something I do want to say is, of course, you turned pro in 2013. You had 3 fights in 13, 3 fights again in 2014, 2 in 2015. Are you looking to get out a little bit more in 2016 now?
Well, possibly. I mean, 2015 there was a couple of injuries and things happen. It's obviously it's boxing, isn't it? So it's a tough sport. I know. I remember hitting my hand. I slipped a disc in my neck. So again, it's just all about timing and everything else. The realistic, logic for me is that I'm 37 years old, 38 this year. I'm just not going to be able to fight every sort of 2 months. It's just not possible. But if I keep having fights and stopping them or knocking them out in that fashion, then of course I'll be fighting a lot more regularly. My next fight will be for a major title, so I'm not too sure on date-wise yet, but we've got a couple of options, and whatever option we choose to go by, whether that be an English title or something else that's been offered to us, then I'm sure it'll be in the next sort of few months.
Of course, a lot of boxers do road work and stuff like that. Of course, they have to move their legs through training. Do you find this particularly easy because of your background?
No, boxing is not easy. It's a real tough sport. I do feel having 18 years as an athlete, bringing that experience from a training method of things, I do think it's definitely helped me in regards of how I am. I mean, although I say I'm a sort of young 38 coming up, as I step into the ring, you wouldn't really put that number on me.
No, definitely not. Of course, you're managed by Steve Goodwin. I know that there was, back when David Haye returned just this month, or just last month, should I say now, of course, Steve Goodwin got the opportunity to take care of the undercard. David Haye's next fight, I don't know if there's been an announcement who's going to be doing the undercard, but if it is Steve Goodwin, will you possibly be on that undercard?
It all depends on what plans we've got next. I've got a meeting with him next week. So, like I say, my next fight is possibly a major title time, and I don't know if that's going to be, because I know Jermaine Smile is fighting, defending that against Liam, I can't remember the surname. He's defending that anytime soon. So, whether it happens in that particular, when is the David Haye show fight?
That is the 21st of May, I believe.
Oh, well, yeah, there might be a possibility that could happen, yeah.
Excellent. That would be a brilliant opportunity for you, especially if it's on terrestrial TV as last time. In your opinion, who is the top 1 or 2 guys in the country at the moment at super middle?
Well, obviously James DeGale, 100%. Super middle. I think if you look at it, you've got obviously your man from the States. What's his face? My brain's a little bit gone at the moment.
Andre Ward.
Andre Ward, that's him.
Right. He's just recently moved up to light heavy, actually.
Has he just recently moved up?
He just recently moved up. Yeah, that division's wide open now.
That
Of
goes
course,
to show
domestically, we've got the likes of course, George Groves, Callum Smith, Martin Murray, those types of guys. It's really exciting.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, it's wide open. I would say, it's very wide open then. Obviously, Callum Smith is I think he's got a world title for eliminator, hasn't he? So I believe that, again, he may vacate the British title, which leaves that wide open for myself to be in the mix. And then, again, he's another serious contender.
And how do you sort of find it? What's it like being in the corner? Because you've got that experienced corner. Of course, your dad, Clinton, former European champ, and of course, your uncle, Duke, former world champ. What is it like having that type of experience in your corner?
Well, you can't buy it. It's, these guys have done their thing, and they give me that knowledge, and we go on to I go on to perform the best I can with my journey. At the moment, it's my dad and Richard Williams who are in my corner. Duke is more taking a position from the outside.
Excellent. And that's Richard Williams, who of course fought Sergio Martinez.
Correct.
Right, okay, another experienced guy. The last thing I'm going to say to you then before I let you go, Leon, is winning which title would be the biggest thing for you realistically? Would it be the English? Would it be the British? Would it be the European?
Well, if you're looking at levels, obviously European title would be phenomenal, right? To win a title of that stature. But I think ultimately to win a British title with the journey that I'm on would be the pinnacle. To win any sort of domestic credible title for me now is a big deal in itself. So any of them really.
Absolutely. Okay, well, Leon, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been my pleasure. We wish you the absolute best for 2016, and we hope that your dream of winning that title can come true, sir.
Thank you very much. Take care.
No problem. Thank you.
Nice one, man. Bye.
Okay, now it's time for part two. This part's the part where we preview the fights coming up this weekend. However, we did say earlier there's not really much to preview. And after the preview, we're going to go straight into an interview that Ayaz has done on his own with Jamie Kavanagh. Before we get into the preview side of things, Ayaz has got a little bit of news for us. We did touch on it earlier. I did spoil it earlier, and I did ask John Ryder his opinion about it. Ayaz, what piece of news do you have for us?
That Amir Khan will fight Canelo Alvarez for the WBC middleweight title in Las Vegas on May the 7th.
Yeah, what an absolute massive clash. It's just been made. It came out of the hat. It just came out of nowhere. I mean, nobody was expecting it. I think that Eddie Hearn was taken by surprise. Everybody was taken by surprise, not just Eddie Hearn. It was an absolute shock. It's a really, in my opinion, it's not the best decision that Team Khan have made. Of course, Khan was at 140 for a long, long time. Then he moved up to 147. He's had a couple of fights at 147 now. He was expressing how much he had to kill himself to get down to 140. He was fighting at 147, now moving up another weight division, a weight division that he's never fought at, to face Canelo, who arguably is in the top 3 or 4 or 5 pound-for-pound fighters in the world. So one thing you do have to admire is the bravado and the balls from Amir Khan to take this fight. Of course, everybody wanted that summer showdown with Kell Brook. That's now not happening. Of course, that won't happen this year, obviously, because after this fight in May, which you did say was the 7th of May, Ayaz, after that fight, he could probably get back in the ring maybe December time, Amir Khan. But, of course, that fight between him and Kell Brook warrants a stadium, and there won't be no stadium fights happening in December or November or any late months of the year. It's got to be in the summer. So that now will not happen till 2017 at least. I believe, in my opinion, if Khan loses to Canelo, he's still got that Kell Brook fight to fall back on. I think Kell Brook is kind of there like a substitute. Whenever he needs him, if he picks up a big loss, he can fight Kell Brook for a big money fight. It will never be a fight that's not going to bring, good money in, because the public have been wanting this fight for years and years. Anything to add on this fight, Ayaz? Is there anything to add? Are you a little bit worried for Khan moving up basically, two weight divisions, you may as well say. He hasn't, like I say, he hasn't really fought anyone who's top elite in 147. He goes straight up to 155. But he did release the fact that he walks around at about 160, 165, 170. He actually said something along those lines. I'm not sure what weight he said, but he did say he walks around at that weight. So this is more of a natural weight for him these days. What do you think, Ayaz?
I reckon this fight is going to be very tough for him as well. He obviously said that he's walks at 160, 165 in this ring. But Canelo is a very big puncher as well. Remember, you got to remember that. And he's skillful as well. So he stepped up from 147 to 155, which is a big 8 pounds the difference. And that could mean a lot, actually.
Yeah. Like you say, it could mean a lot. Like he also says, he walks around at that higher weight. It'll be interesting. Everybody talks about Khan's speed. Will that speed be there when he's a bit heavier? I guess, to be totally honest, I think it will, because when he does training, that's where we've seen his hand speed on the bags and stuff like that, when he's not really, he's in training camp or he's just ticking over in the gym, but he's not really at fighting weight yet. And he still seems to show us that power, that speed, should I say. The power in this one is definitely with Canelo. The skills in this one is probably with Canelo, if we're being brutally honest. We both hope, I believe, that Amir Khan wins. I definitely want Amir Khan to win. You want Amir Khan as well to win, right, Ayaz?
Yes, I want Amir Khan to win.
Yeah, we're both backing Amir Khan. Of course, he's a Brit. We'd love him to win, but it is a really, really tough fight, and there's no way that Canelo can be overlooked. And a lot of people already are overlooking him from Canelo's point of view. They think, this is a great opponent for Canelo's resume. He's going to walk through him, then he's going to face GGG. Something tells me that's not going to happen. I don't know where the plan's going to go wrong, but some sort of detour will come in place. That's just my opinion. We'll see. I might be wrong. I've been wrong plenty of times before. But yeah, it's a really, really, really tough fight. But of course, we know that speed beats power all day long, but it's not just power that Canelo has in his arsenal. Canelo is he's got fantastic lateral movement. He's got fantastic agility. He's very agile. He's tough. He can take a punch. It'll be interesting what Khan can do, because again, I still think we haven't really seen the best of Khan under Virgil Hunter yet. I definitely think it's a good fight. I saw an interview with Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach said that Khan has got a lot of balls for taking this fight. He also said that Cotto will be returning to the ring soon, and that they'd had an offer from Amir Khan that they had rejected, which was interesting because he said that at this point in Cotto's career, he doesn't need someone who's going to be running, throwing punches, and basically someone who Cotto's got to chase around the ring. So that's an interesting sort of reason to decline a fight. But a really, really big fight. I cannot wait for not March. I wish it was March. I cannot wait for May the 7th. It's, of course, going to be on HBO pay-per-view, but it's going to be aired over here. I reckon that it's obviously going to be between Sky Sports and Box Nation. I think that Sky Sports may probably end up getting that fight on their TV, to be totally honest. We're now going to move into the preview part of the show. We spent a long time talking about the news there on Amir Khan and Canelo. Over in Fantasy Springs Casino in California, Frankie Gomez tops the bill, 19-0 he is at the moment. He's in a 10-round contest against Silverio Ortiz. Silverio Ortiz, 34 wins, 16 losses. This is in the welterweight division. Randy Caballero, he's also on the bill, 22-0 he is at the moment. This is a super bantamweight contest for 10 rounds. He faces Ruben Garcia, who's 15-1 with one draw. This will be an interesting fight, actually. Rocco Santamuro, he's also on the bill. This is his 13th professional contest. He's 12-0 at the moment. A couple of other prospects are on the bill. Shane Mosley Jr. is on the bill. Of course, that's the son of Shane Mosley. Did I really have to say that? 4 wins and 1 loss in his career so far. He's in a 4-rounder against a guy called Daniel Henry. So that's really it for USA. We're now going to move over to the card in Ireland, in Dublin at the National Stadium. This is the only purpose-built boxing arena or stadium in the world. This is for the vacant WBO Intercontinental Super Welterweight title, of course, the 154 title. Gary Corcoran looks to move to 15-0. It's a 10-rounder. Danny Butler, 25 wins, 5 losses. It should be a good contest. Now, also on that bill, the guy that Ayaz is going to be interviewing in about 5 minutes' time, Jamie Kavanagh. He is in his 23rd professional contest, 20 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw at the moment. This is for the vacant WBO European lightweight title, a good belt that Jamie, I'm sure, will pick up. He faces Antonio João Bento. 30 wins, 15 losses and 2 draws. Romeo Romao, the Flash Welsh kid, he's also on the bill. 9-0 he is at the moment. He looks to move to 10-0, of course. This is an 8-rounder in the lightweight division. Michael Dufek, he's fighting, 18 wins, 11 losses and 1 draw. Patrick Hyland is also on the bill. For his record at the moment, 31-1. He faces Ronaldo Kalina, 14 wins, 29 losses and 5 draws. Also on this bill, Stephen Ormond, we're seeing him come back to the ring again. I think this is the first time he's fought over in Ireland or Britain for quite a while. I think his last 2 fights, if I'm not mistaken, were over in the States. Both of them, I think he won by knockout, but don't hold me to that. That's just what I remember. Stephen Ormond, 20 wins and 2 losses at the moment. He faces Lucas Yannick. 15 wins, 16 losses and 1 draw. Declan Geraghty's also on the card. He gets out again. Anthony Fitzgerald, the guy we saw in that sort of a grudge match with Spike O'Sullivan, he's out again. He faces Sam Wall. Also on that bill, Peter McDonough, he's in his 55th contest, I think, or 54th professional contest. His record at the minute, 25 wins, 28 losses and 1 draw. Craig O'Brien, he's also on the bill. He looks to move to 4-0. So it's pretty stacked. It's a good bill for Ireland. It's a fantastic bill for Irish boxing this week. We will be tagging Irish boxing on this podcast tweet for sure. A massive push for the Irish boxing. We do love a good clash over there. I'm sure. I don't think it is televised, but if it is televised or somewhere that we can watch it online, I'll definitely be tuning in. There's always a fantastic atmosphere over there. Irish boxing fans, of course, some of the best boxing fans in the world. And that's really it for part 2, I believe. We're now going to bring on the guest that Ayaz is interviewing all by himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, fighting on that big bill in Ireland on Saturday, Mr. Jamie Kavanagh.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You got a fight this week against Antonio João Bento for the vacant WBO European lightweight title. Do you know much about your opponent?
I only know what I've seen really on YouTube. I've seen a few of his fights. He's not a bad fighter. He comes forward a lot. He's had I think 30 fights, maybe 15 losses. He's been around the block. He's got a lot of experience, and I'm looking forward to meeting him in the ring on Saturday night.
How do you see this fight going this week, from your opinion?
My opinion would be, I think I'm a better boxer than Antonio, and obviously I'll do what I'm best good at, which will be box, and then I'll take my angles. I'll pick my shot, and it's a 10-round fight, so we'll see. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not going out there in there thinking I'm going to blow the guy away. It's a 10-round fight at the end of the day, and I'm planning on breaking them down and then hopefully get the stoppage in the later rounds. But we'll see on Saturday night, because at the end of the day it's boxing, and that's what's going to take place. We can have a game plan, but after the first round, they can all go out the window. Sorry.
Yep. You used to train with Freddie Roach, is that correct?
Yeah, I was trained with Freddie Roach for 3 years, and then I went to train with Joel Diaz for like a year and a half.
During your time with Freddie Roach, right, did you ever get to spar Manny Pacquiao?
I did, yeah, I did. I was a sparring partner for two occasions, and I sparred him once when he fought Margarito. So I did. I got my fair share of rounds with Manny, which was great, and I learned so much from him. Just being in the ring, just being in the gym with the guy is really big for any fighter, and watching what he does and what he puts himself through is really great to see on a hand-to-hand basis. Did you also get the chance to spar with Amir Khan as well? That's right, yeah. Amir, me and Amir, I actually sparred Amir for the Maidana fight, and a few other fights. We got some great work with Amir, and he's a real humble guy. You know, he spoke to me a lot and kind of gave me pointers and tips. And him and his team, they're great people.
Oh wow! So are you still with Joe Diaz still or no?
Yeah, that's right. Joel Diaz. He's the brother of Antonio Diaz, Julio Diaz, and also he's the trainer. Well, he was the former trainer of Timothy Bradley, Omar Figueroa. He trained some great champions. We still actually keep in contact with him. He's a good friend of mine in the boxing world.
Oh wow! Did you ever get to spar Timothy Bradley?
I didn't. You know, we used to joke about it because me being there for so long and I never got the chance to spar one of his A-star pupils, which was Timothy Bradley. And we always used to say about we got a spar, but it seemed always when he was in camp, I was out of camp and I was back home visiting my family, which was very important to me, being still kind of seeing my loved ones. So I always missed out on that, and it kind of eats me away today a little bit.
So who is your trainer now, by the way? Because you said you ain't with Joe Diaz, are you?
No, I'm not with Joel Diaz. I'm back. When I went to America that time, I brought my former amateur trainer, Sedano Ruiz. His actual name is Juan Manuel Ruiz, and he traveled to America with me. He lived there for the whole duration of the time, and also when I was training with Freddie and Joel, he was kind of my secondary coach. So he learned a lot. And then when I came back towards the end with Joel, Sedano had to come home for some issues that he had at home, so he couldn't be in America with me for say like the last half year. So I trained fully with Joel, and then when I came back, when I made the decision of coming back to Europe and fighting on this side of the world, I reconnected with Juan Manuel, and he's still my trainer today. So we have like a long relationship of a 15-year relationship with him because he trained me all through my amateur career, and he's still training me now my professional, which is great.
Right. Are you still with Goldenboy Promotion?
I'm not, no. My contract terminated with Goldenboy Promotions, and I got the chance obviously to re-sign with them, and the deal was great. It was a great offer. It was a great deal, and but you know what? I just wanted to come home this side of the world, be closer to my family. Obviously, the long distance relationship that I had with them was very straining on me and my life and my career, and I made the decision of returning home for some family issues, and I signed up with MGM Promotions, which have always backed me in my career from the start. But now they're big on the scene, so I reconnected with them and we broke a deal.
Are you ever going to fight in America again, or no?
In America, I've never ruled that out of fighting back in America. I have a 4-fight deal with MGM. This is actually my 3rd fight with them, and everything's been going great. And we'll see. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've not ruled that option out, but I'm liking what's happening for me on this side of the Atlantic, and we'll see. Time will tell.
Right. One last question, Jamie. Yeah. There's been talk in this country regarding a big fight between Amir Khan and Kell Brook, and obviously you know Amir Khan. In your opinion, who wins the fight between Amir Khan versus Kell Brook?
Me, I'm always gonna take my boy Amir Khan over Kell Brook, but that's favoritism, right? Because I would like to class him as a friend of mine, and I don't know Kell Brook. I've never met him before. He's a great guy, but I've never met him before. But as boxing goes, I do think Kell Brook is the bigger puncher, but speed beats power every day of the week. So if you're going on that analysis, I think Amir beats Kell Brook. There's always that chance of that one shot landing, but I'm liking the way Amir has changed his style when he went with Virgil Hunter, and I think he's gonna be, if not the biggest, in a couple of more fights. Obviously, I heard there's a thing of him fighting with Danny Garcia in the future. when he overcomes that fight, he's gonna be the number one guy in the boxing division. I'm picking Amir Khan.
Okay, thank you, Jamie, and good luck in your fight, and we hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on episode 18 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Ayaz Sumra has been Ayaz Sumra. A big thank you to our free guests this week. Of course, we had to give you free guests because 2 weeks ago, if you remember correctly, we only had one guest on. We like to bring you 2 guests every week, so we felt that we had to make up for that by bringing you 3. A big thank you to our 3 guests. Those guys, of course, Jamie Kavanagh, Leon McKenzie, and John Ryder. So thank you very much for listening this far. If you have done, thank you very much for tuning in. Please come back next week. Please follow, please retweet, favorite, like, subscribe, comment, whatever, and we will see you next week. Take care.